there, and welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani, and this is your show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. That's what we always like to say. We have the show team in place. We have Charles Beery at the controls. We have Michael McCall on social media, and we have Matt Gabinski on the phones waiting to hear from you. So this is what we're going to do. We are revisiting a topic that we covered a couple days ago, last week, because you sent in a lot of emails and more information. And really, to be honest with you, we only covered half of the topic and the subjects that we were going to discuss in the amount of time that we had. So we're going to revisit it. So let's explore more of Luce or Luce and her friends. This is the anime character that the Vatican chose for the Jubilee year to be the mascot. And last week we had we uncovered a lot of research on it, going in deeper into the background and also the graphic artist that designed it. But I really want to get into, and I never had a chance to do it last week, to get into the friends of Luce. I like to use the Italian version, Luce. And I want to discuss it because I'm trying to really process this with the Take-Two family to see how I feel about it. Because remember, folks, anime craze is not just for these little children. The anime craze, it goes all the way up into adults are into it. Okay, so be thinking about that when we discuss this, because I know it looks cute. I know it looks trendy. I know it's in with the whole pop culture thing, but it really affects really young adults on the way to adulthood. Okay, so this is important. So we're tackling this topic again. So if you were one of the ones from a Take-Two family that sent in an email to me, thank you so much. We were at Charles and I were hit with a lot of emails and feedback, good, positive and some negative. And what I mean by that, it's some of you were affirming the Vatican's decision to use an anime character and to really engage the pop culture in that way. And some of you were saying, no, this is the wrong path to take. So let's explore more of Luce and her friends. All you have to do, now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google it. Just Google Vatican Jubilee Year mascot. And you tell me what you think, because I really need your help. And I mean this sincerely, because I'm actually going to do a presentation on this, believe it or not. So I really want to hear from the Take-Two family. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. We're discussing again, like we did last week, a few days ago, Luce and her friends, or Luce and her friends. Luce in Italian means light. And it's this pilgrim on a journey. And that's the mascot for the next year's Vatican, the Jubilee year. The Vatican chose this mascot to really engage the younger faithful, to really try to bring them in and to understand the faith better. And I'm wondering, is this going to work? I'm willing to take a watch and wait and, really sit back and observe to see the fruits of this? Absolutely. But there are some things about Luce and her friends that really do bother me. And I'll share that in a moment. And if you have a different version of it and you can convince me in a different direction otherwise, I would appreciate it, because I need some help on this for the balance of this, because sometimes I feel like my blood pressure gets so high when I look at some of these things that are developed and put out there for the faithful. I struggle with it. Now, let me just give you a full disclosure. Way back when I started in religious education, I used to be part of a curriculum writing team for nationwide religious education, RECCD curriculum that would be used in the elementary age group all the way up to 8th grade. So I'm very particular about precise language when it comes to the faith. And so it bothers me very much when we lessen or diminish, or I said last week, and some of you really liked that I said it this way, cheapen the faith in a way where we're trying to make it so attractive that we have to hook and lure people in order to go deeper. I disagree with that. And I'll tell you why. I did case studies with adolescent age students for my master's thesis, and they totally proved it in a different direction. Adolescent age, junior high age, and high school age can go very deep, very quickly with our Lord. and I mean that, very deep, very quickly. And I studied them for over 1 year, a large sampling, approximately 400 kids. So I just wanted to go ahead and share that with you, because that's why I think I'm so vocal about why they chose this mascot. And I guess I am critical, and I'm trying to figure it out. So I need your help. All right. Here's the number, 833-288-3986. That's 833-288-3986. If you have something to say about the anime craze in general, or this mascot, or anything else, please call in and share with us, share with the world, because it's very, very important. And I would like folks under the age of 30 to call in with their opinion. Could you do that? If you're under the age of 30, please call in. We want to know what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Under the age of 21, call in. You know, maybe you have a teenager home, maybe he's got a little bit under the weather, and they'd like to weigh in on this. Please, I want to hear from the younger audience on what you guys feel about this Luce mascot character, anime character that is all around the world, by the way. And I understand that people are on waiting lists, trying to buy plush dolls and all sorts of things for Christmas, and they are so excited because they think that this is going to be the newest thing for their kids for Christmas. And I understand also that people are frustrated because they can't get merchandise. So this is all interesting, how this is all working out with this Luce and her friends. When I come back, I'm going to talk more about one of her friends in particular, the baby angel. Ooh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But I need to hear from you. Fill up the phone lines. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. If you're not Catholic, tell us what you think of the Vatican mascot for the Jubilee year. 833-288-EWTN. From Connecticut. So let me just give the number. We're talking about Luce and her friends. Okay, this anime craze that the Vatican has jumped onto for the Jubilee year. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. That is the number. So let's go to Garrett from Connecticut on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Garrett. Welcome to the program.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Go right ahead.
I was going to say how that anime doll is definitely not something people should like, because that specific art style has been highly sexualized, actually, and it's not something that Catholics should like. A lot of anime actually is anti-Catholic and often portrays the Catholic Church in a bad light.
Interesting. Are you talking about that Tokidoki craze or whatever that is?
Yeah, just like the whole entire anime art style in general is not something that should be done by the Catholic Church. I feel like it's a pagan practice that can't really be Christianized. Mm-hmm. Just because of its roots of highly lascivious activity and questionable practices done by the people who make it.
Okay. And I tend to agree with you. I did the research over the weekend, and I was just appalled at some of the things I found as you go down this anime trail with this, Japanese cartoon figures and the names that are associated. Like even these names of it, like one of the friends is Fi and one is Zin and one and the Holy Spirit, I guess, is Aura. I mean, what are we talking here, Garrett? This is leaning towards some pretty new age stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you how it kind of cheapens the face. Like, Jesus should be the mascot. Our cross should be a mascot. And how people go online and search what this art style is can lead to unpure thoughts, which leads to sin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, Garrett, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but what age range are you in? I'm sorry?
It's very important to not look up anything when it comes to this kind of thing.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Well, because you can go down that rabbit hole and get into some really strange information, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And I'm I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but can you just give me your age range?
I'm 25.
Okay, that's okay, good. I really wanted somebody under the age of 30. Thank you so much for weighing in. Now, what do you think about the anime craze in general, that it is just going across the world with high schoolers and college students?
Well, I used to be a part of that, but I found Jesus and moved towards him and realized how evil that stuff is, because a lot of it is really demonic and openly applauds Satanism.
Oh,
And
no.
it's not really a Catholic thing to watch.
Okay, so before you go, I'd like to just let me give the number again. Before you go, I want one other thing I want your comment on because it's so important. 833-288-EWTN if you want to weigh in on Luce and her friends on this anime craze for the Vatican's mascot for Jubilee year. Please call in. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. 833-288-3986. Garrett, are you Catholic?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. So, did you see the angel, the baby angel, as one of the friends?
I only saw the Leche doll.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. So, excuse me for that. I'm going to sneeze and I can't hold back the sneeze. Oh, see, I'm telling you, the demons are just working overtime because they don't like this conversation at all. Garrett, there's a baby angel that has a ball cap on. And it looks like the baby has a diaper on, and it has angel wings. And it's supposed to signify this companion, this friendly companion that connects us with God, which is supposed to be your guardian angel. I have to tell you, it makes my stomach hurt because it is, first of all, our guardian angels are not baby angels. That's number one. Number two, whenever you see a baby, it's a cute little cuddly thing that doesn't have a lot of power, right? A baby is a beautiful baby. That precious little baby doesn't have a lot of power. The angels are mighty warriors. Okay, why didn't they pick an anime character that was 5 times the size of Luce with, massive wingspan and to show the power of the angels? Instead, they pick a baby, adorable little baby with a ball cap on and diapers and little baby wings to accompany that pilgrim on a journey. It is so insulting to the angels. It just makes my stomach hurt. Any comments on that, Garrett? That's the reason why I'm doing these back-to-back programs.
Well, I feel like the Catholic Church should move towards like a more kind of Michelangelo kind of style. Mm-hmm. How it's like actually trying to intensify the beauty of God's creation and not intensify the beauty of what we create.
Right.
So the entire type of style in general is kind of worshiping what we create and not what God creates.
Right, right. So you're against it then. You think it was not a wise choice to pick this as the mascot for the Jubilee year.
God bless the Pope and everyone in the Vatican, but this attempt to reach children is too much. Yeah. Because Jesus can do that himself.
True. And I've said this. I said this on the previous program last week. I don't know how we're going to transition to get these pilgrims on a journey, these young Catholics, to realize how much deeper our faith is. I don't know how you're going to do that. I don't know how you're going to make that jump over. So they're into this anime cartoon character, and how are they going to jump to a real mystical encounter with God? To me, it doesn't make sense. I'm with you, Garrett. Thank you so much for the phone call today, and you were first up. You got the conversation started. I appreciate all you have said, and I love the fire in your belly for the faith. So thank you so much, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Okay, so Garrett's going to free that phone line. He was first. We have another caller coming in who's in their 20s as well. So we'll get to Chris in just a second. Chris, don't go anywhere. I got to give the number a couple times. So we got 2 back-to-back under 30 years old calling in, weighing in on the anime Vatican mascot character. And that's what I'm going to call it, a character. I do not find this to be something that I would hold up as some kind of model. I just don't. I'm sorry. And I really would love somebody to comment on the baby angel. I guess the baby angel is called, I think, Ubi, something of that nature. Tell us what you think about it. 833-288-3986. We're talking about Luce and her friends. And I'm going to move next. We also have Bob had called in as well. I'll get to that in just a moment. But I want to get to Chris from Coleman, Alabama on Guadalupe Radio Network. And Chris, you're in your 20s as well. Welcome to the program. Go ahead and please comment on Luce and her friends.
Hi, thank you. That's right. I just want to start off. I am 25, and I felt inspired to answer the call because I wanted to share my own perspective growing up with this anime thing before it was even really popular and it was normal to talk about among friends, and before it was really popular in those mainstream video games as well, where they're able to sort of put anime in every aspect of in every way that the youth sort of interact with video games, anime, or whatever it is. And I've just noticed the negative impact for myself. I got into it when I was really young, and I can say a lot of the youth have around like when you're 12, 11, and I'm probably just gonna say that I'm also in the camp of not being very happy with the decision to bring on anime characters as mascots, like what the previous caller said. It kind of reminded me of Bishop Fulton Sheen's quote. You don't win the youth by going down to their level. You should bring them up to yours. Mm-hmm. And for me, I can only hope and pray that God will make good come out of it. But for the most part, from my perspective, because it's had such a negative impact on me and those that I've seen around and my friends, it's definitely more. I can see it as a gateway or an entryway to pornography, actually, just because of how. Of the artwork and the way they kind of portray both sexes in a very inappropriate way. Mm-hmm. And it's just the way it is. It's how it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's definitely coming from what is essentially pagan culture. If you look at the most mainstream animes that I've watched myself, and the ones that many youth have gotten into, such as Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, or what else? Those are the mainstream ones, and those are Pokemon, of course. Those ones are very pagan. They promote so many different kinds of religions that are not of our faith, and when you grow up, watching that and listening to that, you're pretty much being enculturated or indoctrinated with very pagan concepts, and you won't know how to separate your faith from that. And so I think introducing this would be sort of going backwards in terms of raising up our children to be Catholic and strong in their faith.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Did you hear Garrett's call? So you guys could be good friends. You guys sound that's awesome that you're peers in the same age range. So let me ask you this, Chris. Everything you said, I agree with. I wanted to share with you Bob's comment that came in. He called in and asked, the early church baptized pagan cultures and celebrations and made them Christian for the conversion of peoples. How do you see this as different from the early church enculturation? And you use that word. So I'm going to let you comment first because I have comments on that as well. What do you think about that? That the church and you have to look at what a lot of times people will say we took pagan rituals and situations and we Christianized them. That's not exactly true. You have to look at the whole surroundings of it. There's a lot that there was a lot of education, there was a lot of a growth there, and a lot of development. So you have to also take that into consideration. But I want to hear your comments on Bob's question.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was my first thought as well when I saw that. Like, oh, okay, so it seems like, it would be an attempt to Christianize these pagan practices, or whatever it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Well,
what
wait a
kind
minute,
of
Chris.
was,
Chris, I'm going to keep everybody in suspense. Hold a little longer. You hear that music. Stay with me. I want to hear your comments, and we'll get to Lisa and the others. There's room for you if you want to make a comment about Luce and her friends. And I was just corrected. The angel's name, I guess, is Luby. So I don't know exactly what that means in the anime world. 833-288-3986.
Another great podcast on EWTN Podcast Central is The Catholic Sportsman Show. Randy and Paul discuss professional, college, and youth sports topics from our Catholic Christian perspective. You can hear this and other faith-filled podcasts from our friends and affiliates around the world at EWTN Podcast Central. Visit EWTN.com/radio and click on Podcast Central today.
This is a Did You Know moment with Sandra McDevitt. Did you know there is a connection between the Solemnity of the Annunciation, celebrated March 25th, and the Angelus Prayer? On March 25th, we recall Mary's response to the angel and God becoming man at the Incarnation. It was a medieval custom to recite 3 Hail Marys to meditate on the angelic greeting. St. Bonaventure proposed his orders, friars minor, recite the prayers in the evening after Compline while meditating on the Incarnation. A bell was rung to let the brothers and any lay faithful nearby know to pray. The practice spread throughout Europe to include praying not only in the evening, but morning and noon as well. The Angelus Prayer, as we know it today, can be found in prayer books dating to 1588. Many Catholic schools as well as churches pray the Angelus at noon. I'm Sandra McDevitt, 3WTN Radio.
Pray for the protection of unborn children with a free pro-life prayer ebook to help guide you in prayer, to change the hearts of those who compromise the call to protect and defend life. Get your free ebook today at EWTN.com/profile.
I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers. Join me for Beacon of Truth today at 4 p.m. Eastern
on the next Beacon of Truth, talking missionaries and Soulful Psalm 99.
Now back to Take 2 with Jerry and Debbie.
Okay, we're talking about Luce and her friends, and we're trying to figure out what this all means for us and our young faithful that are going to be introduced to this in the Jubilee year next year, the Jubilee of Hope, and they're pilgrims on a journey. I understand that part. But we're talking with our new friend Chris, who is calling in from Coleman, Alabama. And Chris, go ahead and answer Bob's question there and continue. I'm sorry we had to hit the pause button, but I kept everybody in suspense, and I'm sure they're all back by now.
Yeah, no worries. Like I was saying, I get the intention of Christianizing what is essentially pagan culture, but there's just so much influence of evil associated with anime that I find it hard to see how this could be justified. Mm-hmm. And, just this is coming from my personal experience in that I feel like it's inviting many more youth to fall into a deeper hole. With anime, there's hundreds of different genres, just like in music, there are different genres. And you don't know which hole or which genre they can fall into. So it's very dangerous from my personal experience, but I also understand that people have different experiences of anime, and they can take they have a neutral perspective towards anime, so they can be more open to it. It's just that I understand that I also have had a very negative, and the people that I know around me have had, in terms of their spirituality, a negative experience. So that's what I'd be worried about. But at the same time, the only thing, since the Vatican has gone with this direction, is to just pray that God can make anything good come out of the most evil or the most what you would think is hopeless. God can make good come out of it. So that's all we can pray for.
That is beautifully said. And I just want to share this. When you have people in a room making a decision to try and relate to what's going on with, like, they want to engage the pop culture, and I believe you said it was Fulton Sheen, talking about we're called to not go down into the culture, but raise the culture up, right? And so, and I don't know if any of those people in the room that made the decision, maybe some of them, it's the first time they ever heard of anime. I've got to be honest with you. I had to do a quick study on it, quick read on it, and figure out what it was, because I'm not into it. So maybe they're sitting in a room and saying, what's the newest trend? And they say, oh, this anime craze. Okay, let's get an artist and we'll put this together, and we'll really engage the young folks and bring them in. But it's, to me, I think that's, I don't know if a lot of research was done, because I go back to the angel, the baby angel. I wish somebody would comment on this and be as outraged as I am. Tomorrow we're going to have Dave Palmer on, who's going to be answering calls about angels, and I'm going to ask him about it too. It's horrible. I don't know why you would depict an angel, a guardian angel, which is in the created line of things, is higher than us, mightier than us, stronger than us, smarter than us, and you depict them as a cute little adorable baby with diapers and a tiny little angel wings with a ball cap on. I mean, to me, that is just, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say, and this is why my blood pressure goes sky high when I'm looking at this. And people may say, "Oh, Debbie, you're taking it too far. You know, it's just an entranceway for people to come into the faith." That's garbage. I mean, I know, because I've seen 3-year-old children and 4-year-old children with the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, and they take on parables and they go into a mystical experience at 3 and 4 years old. I've never seen anything like it. I witnessed it. So I know that people are able to go deep very quickly. We don't have to have this shallow entranceway. What do you say, Chris? You see my blood pressure's high. What do you say?
Yes, no, and I think mine is too, because like you said, it's not an entryway. For me, I think it's an entryway to pornography and other really bad, pagan concepts that the kids just aren't ready to be introduced to. It's a lot more sinister than I think that those who came up with the idea thought.
I agree. And I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they really know. I'm not going to say that this is something that they did on purpose, intentional, or anything. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt like you are, and we're going to pray for them and that good comes out of it. But I don't think they realize what they have opened up here. And I think it's dangerous. I agree with you, Chris. Thank you so much for calling in. God bless you. Thank you for being such a strong voice today on Take Two throughout the world about this Luce. But, and I'm not trying to tell folks not to go buy these anime, and I'm going to call them creatures. I'm sorry. I just don't think they're even characters. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from buying these for Christmas, but there's so much more, interesting and important things you can buy. Like buy the book, My Son Carlo, about Blessed Carlo Acutis. Oh my goodness, that book is amazing. Right in the center of the book, there's a recipe on how to bypass purgatory and get to heaven. I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to do? And I think there's so, and go to EWTNRC.com and look at all the beautiful, deep, spiritual, meaningful gifts you can buy for Christmas. I'm sorry, I just don't think this whatever is going to work. Okay, we're going to get to Lisa, but let me give the phone number again. See, I'm sorry, my New Jersey attitude is coming out. Please forgive me, everyone. I love all of you, and you have been so accepting of me and all my flaws, and I thank you for that. But please forgive me. I didn't want to do this topic again. It was suggested by you, because you guys called in and commented in and said, can you revisit it? And I aim to please. So this is what you get, is me with my hands are shaking literally talking about this. 833-288-3986. Could somebody weigh in on the baby angel? I just want to see if somebody else agrees with me. I know Chris does, but somebody else. 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. Please, you don't have to be Catholic to call, and I understand that a lot of people who aren't Catholic seem to love this anime character. Lisa is waiting so patiently in San Antonio, Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Lisa. Welcome.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
I think I was listening to you, and I think you already kind of answered part of my question, but not all of it. I was just asking your screener right now. I didn't hear your first show. I just weighed into this one, and this morning I did a little research like you. I'm not 25. I'm not in that age group. I'm 65, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I didn't quite understand it. I thought it was more of a marketing thing that they were doing until I realized it was supposed to be the mascot for the New Year Jubilee, and I was kind of taken aback by that. I don't quite understand it. Like I said, this is out of my comfort zone for me, and I couldn't quite understand. I was trying to like you said, interpret things and do research, trying to be level-headed about it. But I wanted to know, you said a little bit of it just a minute ago with your other caller, who arrives at these decisions? Is the Pope in there? Like you said, is it a committee when they vote? And like you said, are they just looking to see what the next trend is, like you were mentioning earlier? Because wouldn't somebody over there around the Pope, knowing the way things are with the youth, and I know they want to engage the youth and they want them to be pilgrims of hope. I get all that. But I'm just trying to understand, wouldn't anybody else, chime in and say, hey, this looks weird. Yeah. This does not go with our Catholic beliefs. This is something kind of not the norm. I don't understand how they voted on this and that it's out there and they already gave it their stamp of approval. It's already out there. It's being marketed, money-making already. Like you said, the dolls, the toys, Christmas, and that's what I wanted to know. Okay. And is it like that every time that there's a new year? I mean, do they have different people doing that? And who gives the final stamp of approval? Is it the Pope?
Sure. Well, so couple things I'll answer the best I can. Being in religious education since '89, we used to get these questions all the time. How does the Vatican arrive at certain things? Well, first of all, our church is not a democracy, so it's not really up for any type of voting. Or let's get a group together and vote on this. However, you will have Vatican officials that will. And if I'm incorrect on any of this, if we've got any people that worked at the Vatican or any theologians that are listening, or any bishops or any priests listening, if you want to disagree with me or correct me, feel free to. But this is what I understand it to be. I believe on one of the articles that it was a Vatican official that released this Luce mascot. And I believe we posted it on Jerry and Debbie Facebook page. I'm going to see if Charles will give me confirmation on that. It was a Vatican official. My understanding is when they are trying to explore, you'll have people in different departments in the Vatican that are charged with the mission or the task or the ministry to make sure that they are ministering to the faithful in various ways. So there'll be it could be bishops involved, could be cardinals, could be priests, could be sometimes sisters and religious sisters, lay leaders that are asked to make sure that they have their pulse on all areas of the Catholic world. And so do I think that this is just a guess now, Lisa, just by the way this was unveiled very quickly and you didn't hear anything about it and it just came out. I think you did have some Vatican officials in a certain department of taking care of, the faith and teaching and preaching on the faith, sit together and figure out a way, because they, I believe, are somewhat desperate to get the younger folks into the church, because we're losing a lot of people, and especially the young folks, because they're identifying as they're not identifying with any faith belief, and so they're wanting to come up with creative ways to do it. And I understand the intention. I totally get it. I absolutely understand it. And I don't know if you know this, Lisa, but the Vatican is going to the big international, I guess, cartoon convention. So they're going to be a part of it now, which I don't think they've ever done before. So I would imagine that they're trying these creative ways to engage the young Catholic faithful. And I don't think necessarily they think a lot about down the road. I think Chris's call was so spot on. I don't think people are realizing, and same with Garrett, and they're both in their 20s. I don't think people are realizing when you go 7 steps down the road. I have seen this before sometimes when the Vatican puts forth something, they have a kind of a European feel to it, and we have a different kind of view of it over here in the U.S. And I don't know necessarily if they go 7 steps down the road. I've said this many times. And when you sit with the shepherds of the church and you'll say, Bishop, have you thought about this? And what happens if this happens? And what happens if this happens? You can see the light bulb go off in their heads going, I never thought of it like that. And I think, honestly, that's my gut. This is just a guess. This is just my opinion. I'm not representing the church or representing EWTN. This is just Debbie Georgiani's opinion. I don't think they really thought down the road. I think they thought, this is a trend. This is a hot craze. Let's jump on it and see how many kids we can get into the Catholic Church, which is a great intention. I love that. But I think it's going in the wrong direction. So what do you say, Lisa?
Well, I agree. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Like I said, when I first saw it, I thought it was just kind of a little joke, it reminded me of Hello Kitty, kind of those kind of things,
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking of at first until I started to delve in, like you said, did a little research and trying to understand. And I didn't understand her friends or the baby angel. Mm-hmm. I didn't get that connection to me, mm-hmm. and I just didn't feel comfortable looking at it.
Right.
And then they kind of blew up her eyes, and they said there were shells inside her eyes, mm-hmm. Like 2 shells or something, and they described that. I was trying to understand it. I wasn't trying to judge it. I was just trying to understand because, like I said, I'm out of touch with that generation style. Sure. And to me, that wasn't clear to me. So I was just trying to understand it. But you answered my question. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, I just didn't know who started it and how it ends up like this, mm-hmm. And if they're going to roll with it. I mean, it's already taken off. So,
well, it has taken off. It has taken off, but I will tell you, and we'll get confirmation from Charles. We want to make sure that article with the Vatican official that unveiled Luce, that's the person I believe who's in charge or somewhat in charge of this. So maybe that's the person. I understand that there has been some pushback. I heard it through the grapevine that there's been some pushback on the Vatican, so they're not quite sure how big of a role Luce is going to play in the Jubilee year. So I mean, they do listen to the people. I mean, maybe they're learning as they're going along, and they probably had to sign up for this convention, so they figured out, let's get a very popular tokidoki artist, and that's the name of the whole craze, and they picked this person, and this person designed it. Not to mention that, I can go on and on, Lisa, with this baby angel. It's so insulting with the rosary. Every one of the characters have a rosary around their neck, and they say, oh, the rosary is a simple prayer. Well, the rosary isn't, yes, the rosary may be simple to say, but the rosary is not a simple prayer. It's one of the best deliverance prayers. It's the strongest prayer. Our Lady told us to pray the rosary. And when you start calling it a simple prayer, it makes it like no big deal. I mean, these words have meaning. See, this is why I shouldn't have done this show, Lisa, but I'm so glad you called in. I feel calm talking to you, and that's wonderful, and I appreciate so very much your take on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Have a good one, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See, I think Lisa's take was perfect. I mean, we really need to be thinking about this. This is something we don't understand, and we're trying to figure out who did it and why they did it. And yeah, so there's a lot to be said. Okay, let me see. I've got lots of blinking lights. We've got full phone lines. I believe we're going to Margaret. I think we're going to go are we going to Margaret? Yeah, we're going to Margaret in Kansas. Okay, so we've got full phone lines, so I'm going to go as fast as I possibly can. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear Charles. Okay, let's go to Joanne. Are we going to Margaret or Joanne? Okay, let me say hello to them. Hello, is this Margaret?
Yes.
Hi, Margaret. Okay, I couldn't hear my producer. We have full phone lines plus. The phone lines are blowing up, and we're going to run out of time. So this is where it gets really kind of crazy here on Take Two. But I'm so glad I could bring you on air. Hello, Margaret. You're in Kansas, listening on what radio station?
KKSJ.
Beautiful, beautiful. Go right ahead.
Okay, so real quickly, the artist. I looked up the artist who did Luce, and his logo for his company is a crossbones with a heart on top.
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So he explains that by saying that he likes to mix the darkness with the light and the evil with the good.
Wow, that's what he said.
I think that's kind of important to know since he's the one creating this. I think there's darkness mixed in with these cute little characters.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's deliberate on his part because that's the nature of his company.
Sure. Sure. And I understand people did some research on Instagram they went back on his Instagram feed, and they said that he also did artist work on some really sketchy things, and, really checkered. He has a bit of a checkered past when it comes to what he's designed. Did you find any of that?
Yes, very much. I don't think you want me to.
No. Yeah, everybody can kind of realize that it's leading people into a near occasion of sin. Would we say that's pretty accurate?
Very much, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go again. How did the Vatican officials let this person, was this person a relative of somebody of the Vatican? Because he is from Italy. I know he lives in California. Did the Vatican officials vet him? Did they understand his background? Did they ignore his background? How did this get through? This is, again, I think it was a quick move to find a very trendy, catchy mascot for the Jubilee year, and I think it's going to backfire. I don't think it's a good thing at all. But yeah, I'm right with you, Margaret. I picked up the same stuff. And also the characters, everything about the characters, it's just so... I'm sorry, it makes me feel like, because you have to remember, if you're talking about a 3 to a 7-year-old, that's one thing. But if you're talking about a 7-year-old all the way up to age, 18 years old, you're talking down to them like they don't even understand, basic theological concepts. And you're talking down to them with these characters. It just makes no sense to me on how you're going to elevate the mind and the spiritual side of things. How are you going to take that to the next level when you start at this particular place? And if it goes into some place dark, that's even worse, because how are you going to bring them back? Because now you introduced them to this dark side, right, Margaret?
Right. I'm so glad you were doing this show last time and this time, because disturbed just at the first sight of it, without even knowing anything about it yet. It was disturbing. Right.
And I just got word it was, and I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. It was Archbishop Reno Fischstella from the dicastery of, I guess that's the dicastery. The full name of his office there. Somebody give me the full name of his office there. Archbishop Reno Fischstella, if you can look it up. That's who unveiled the mascot. I don't know if he's responsible for it. Maybe he just is the one who said, okay, let's run with it. Maybe it was his office that, I don't know. I really don't. Maybe we should call and find out, because this is just it's probably getting out of control, especially when you have really good, well-intentioned Catholics that are lining up to buy these things. And I mean lining up. And they're actually, if you go on some chat rooms, you'll see that they're frustrated because they can't get it in time for Christmas. Okay, Margaret, I'm going to let you go there. And I appreciate so much that you weighed in, because we're going to go very fast. Let's get the actual title. Actually, better yet, go to Jerry and Debbie Facebook page after the show. Charles will post that article again with the Archbishop that actually, it's a dicastery for evangelization. That's right. That's his role. So go ahead and we'll post that article again of him unveiling it, so you'll get an idea of where this is coming from the Vatican. So I don't know if the Pope is on top of all of these committees and everything. Does he have to give his final approval on things like this? I don't know. That's a very good question. I don't think so. I mean, how could he actually have to, if he had to do that, he'd be working round the clock. So I think he delegates to these heads of these departments to help him shepherd the church. So anyway, okay, that's where we're at. Thank you to the show team. You guys have my back on this, because we have we could do a part 3 and a part 4, but let's go to Joanne from Arlington Township. I'm at New Jersey, Sirius XM 130. Is it Arlington or Ashington? Hello, Joanne.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
My name is Joanne Schmidt. I'm a 62-year-old mom with 2 children, 130, 126. My children, thank God, still go to church and are pretty much pretty devout. And my son is a lawyer, my daughter's a therapist. we are part of the generation that was being indoctrinated in the Harry Potter and Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very concerned because I think because so many people, young adults, are not going to church right now, this thing would bring them in, the younger generation, in hook, line, and sinker. So that's how I feel.
So first of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry. Like I said, we had the phone lines just blow up. So you're in Washington Township, New Jersey. I just want to make sure.
I'm in Sewell, New Jersey, which is Gloucester County, New Jersey, southern part of the state.
Right. Beautiful.
And Camden Diocese. I'm in the Camden Diocese of New Jersey.
Okay, got it. A beautiful part of the state. I just want to always make sure I mention the areas of New Jersey properly. Okay, so I agree with you. I mean, there's a problem here, and there's a problem on many levels. And if you look at it, I wish that a lot of religious educators would weigh in and really voice their concerns about this at the parish level. Maybe that's the best way to do this. I know that there's no way I'm going to be involved with anything if I were to show up at an event and they want me to somehow promote this character. I'm just not. It's just not my thing. I'm not going to do it because we're not commanded to do it. This is a mascot for a Jubilee year. I'm not saying to be disobedient. I'm just saying I'm not going to go along with something that I believe that is going to be leading people that will be leading people in the wrong way or giving them less than they deserve. We deserve more. And what we noticed from Catholic radio over the years is that when people start listening to Catholic radio, they say, I missed so much in my formation years. I feel cheated. I feel robbed. I feel like I didn't get enough. And now I'm in my 50s and 60s and I'm trying to gobble up everything I can possibly absorb on Catholic radio because I really feel like nobody took the time to really help me because our faith is so big. It's so rich. It's so vast. It's so deep. And so I can't do that. I feel like I'm on a mission to really share the faith as quickly with a sense of urgency as possible so people can get to heaven. Any comments on that, Joanne?
Well, I'm with you. I didn't go to Catholic school, but I sometimes think, and this is no disrespect to Catholic education, I almost feel like I was better off because I went to public school.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you probably are running out of time, but I just want to say I believe very, very strongly that the evil one is going after our youth. They don't want them going to church. They don't want them knowing Jesus as Lord and Savior. Mm-hmm. So I am a very devout Catholic. Thank God I had good formation. But I just saw the evil. I told your producer, the evil that I see is the Pokemon age.
Right.
And the Harry Potter age.
Right,
and
right.
We're just indoctrinated that, if we want to reach these children, we got to come to them with something that they can relate to.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to have to leave it there because I'm going to run out of time. I only have about 20 seconds. I want to just say to, oh my goodness, all of the other callers, we have full phone lines plus you guys. You are so patient, so kind. Please go to Jerry and Debbie Facebook page. We'll have another program for you tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. We'll see you real soon.
Life coaching has been around for many years, helping people with their relationships, careers, health, and finances.